Happy 2024. Happy Spiritual Sunday. So let's get started with our affirmation. Those of you here, it's on the screen. For those of you online, especially as we're starting together, right? 2024, we want to keep in mind a frame of newness, and we want to strengthen whatever was in the past, other than simply and directly using it to help fix our consciousness. The rest, we want to let it go. Yes, we want to look to see what mistakes I made so I don't do it again. I can correct it and things like that, but I don't want to beat myself up over those things. So let's start now with a new infusion as we say this together. Consciousness is everything. I raise my consciousness today to see the miracles and wonders of life. I commit myself to behave with greater love, compassion, and kindness towards all human beings. And may that be more and more engraved deeply in our hearts and our soul, because it's getting tougher to actually be more loving, kind, and compassionate towards everybody, because a lot of bad stuff is going on out there, and let's see today what we can do about it. So just to reawaken us, for those of you who have been in the classes or been around a while, and for those of you that are newer to the center or to Spiritual Sunday, let's just remind ourselves, there has to be a source, even from a simple scientific point of view, leaving aside spirituality, there has to be, in essence, an original source, even what we call the laws of science. So in one simple way, they could say the Big Bang, right? The Big Bang happened, there was this just massive ball of physical matter, and suddenly it exploded and it went throughout all the universe. And I guess we could even start there and say all the laws, the physical laws of science started there. You and I understand that there comes before anything in the physical world, something in the metaphysical spiritual world. Even like, my simple example usually is, you are first hungry or thirsty, which in simple terms is invisible, and then comes a physical act to go get something to eat or drink. So if somebody watching you going to get something to eat or drink, it's a pretty good assumption that you're hungry or thirsty in some way or other. So then the same way, if there are an origin of the physical laws, even let's say the Big Bang, then all the more there has to be an origin to all the spiritual laws. And from that one origin, from the one Big Bang, come all the laws of science, even as diverse as they can in the physical, simple physical material world, chemistry, physics, psychology, all this stuff, what do they call it? Geology, astronomy, all of that has to be sourced in the one Big Bang. So in that same way, all the various religions, spiritual teachings, etc., have to be sourced in one set of immutable universal laws. And that's all the Zohar is the blueprint of the universe. And therefore, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism, whatever other isms out there, chemistry, physics, quantum physics, computer science, artificial intelligence science, etc., are all sourced in the Zohar's explanation, blueprint of the universe. And that's why what the center teaches is just that pure Zohar understanding of the universe, made simple or applicable through a lineage of great Kabbalistic masters that led up to Rav Ashlag, the founder of the center 100 years ago, who taught Rav Brandwein, who taught Rav Berg, who with Karen created the Kabbalah centers and expanded it worldwide, made Kabbalah a worldwide phenomena. And today we have Michael Berg and his wife Monica, who are leading and continuing that. So what we're learning here is the way every human being on earth, no matter who, what, when, or where, or what they believe, can alter their consciousness and change their life. And so just to sort of keep us on the same page, I just want to remind us, in the simplest terms, what's the purpose of life? If you make it too complicated, like anything else in life, if it's complicated, you start to leave people out. In other words, you start to talk to me about quantum physics, I'm gone. my mind goes off somewhere else. I can't grasp it. But if you make it simple, then I can grasp it. If you put it in a way that I can apply it in my life, in my circumstances, then it's important to me, and I'm going to pay attention. It's going to be applicable because I know it's going to help me in my life. So for me, that's what the Kabbalah Center has been teaching now for 100 years, how to take this infinite wisdom and bring it to a level that every human being on earth can apply it. And again, for me, the simple validation of that is the fact that when I started in 1988, in fact, okay, maybe it's ego, whatever, but as of yesterday, I am now 36 years a teacher in the center. It's been 36 years as of yesterday. I moved to New York. So in all these years, when I started, we were 3 tiny offices in the world, and basically the population of the center, the students, were Persian and Israeli Jews. Now you look at what the center has achieved in these 36 years, because of the lineage we have and what the Kabbalah has been writing for thousands of years, that this belongs to everybody. So now, some of you, we have here, Cape Town, we have Hong Kong, we have people from all over the world. We have a center. This is the one when people want to say, Kabbalah is Jewish mysticism, and it's for the Jews. Okay, for me, one of the most impactful examples of the truth, we have a center in Beirut, Lebanon, not quite the center of Judaism, that's run and taught by a woman who's Muslim. And most of the students obviously are Muslim, a few Christian Arabs, and I think she said maybe one Jew who shows up or has shown up like that. Now, how can you say this is all Jewish mysticism if, especially today, and then we have Hong Kong, we have Philippines, we have all over the world, all of South America. How could it be Jewish mysticism if you have so many people who are dedicated and committed to applying this wisdom and spreading the Zohar around the world from all those other backgrounds? Black, white, yellow, brown, Jew, Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, Hindu. So for me, it's already a given. Now, I'm not asking you just to accept it because I'm saying it, but let's just keep in mind simplicity is the most valuable. So our simple purpose in this world is just to imitate the Creator. Now, if you even think of that as it's coming to me now, I don't care what religion you are. If you look at whatever you call your Creator, and you consider your Creator good, then like we affirm, greater love, kindness, and compassion to all human beings. Because no Creator is going to say, yes, you should be nice to this person, but you should hate and kill this person, or be terrible to them, or whatever. So whatever name or whatever religion you come from, to imitate the Creator means to be of greater love, kindness, and compassion, and forgiveness and tolerance to everybody you meet. And then we'll come to understand through today even all the more why. So that's number one. Just share the light that the Creator implanted in us 24/7. How do we do that? We use our free will. The Creator gave us free will in our creation in the endless world. We have the ability either to share our light or seek to get from other people or outside sources a sense of temporary fulfillment. That's it. Those are the only 2 choices. Again, simple. You and I think, as I grew up, I could decide what school I wanted to go to, what profession I wanted to go into. We think those are free will choices. But as you'll learn Kabbalah, every choice we make, every choice, is based only on that one binary system. Desire to share, desire to receive. That's it. Do I want to get from this situation right now? Or do I want to imitate the Creator and shine my light into this situation? That's it. And then we all, especially now these last number of years, have heard of, and maybe most of us, because we're here, believe there's an exact law of cause and effect. No exceptions to the law of cause and effect. No exceptions whatsoever. The only thing is, you ever been, some of you look new to me, you ever been to a magic show? You ever been watch a magician on TV, whatever? What are you paying them essentially to do? Fool your 5 senses. A good trick means you see the effect, you don't know the cause. You don't know how they made it happen. So when you look at life and things happen to us, and we say, why did that happen? Not because there's no cause and effect, but in some cases we can't see the cause and effect. That doesn't mean there is no cause and effect. Do you really believe that magician created whatever, a 2-ton elephant to show up in a cage hanging in the middle of the air, really actually created that elephant like God would create the elephant? I see some people may be going, I don't know, maybe, Chaim. We have the power of the Creator, especially this crazy guy. But you understand, we know it's a trick. We know it's a trick. We don't see how they did it, but we know it's a trick. So what you and I have to keep in mind is everything is cause and effect, which, as painful as it may be in certain circumstances, it's the only way we can have true control over our life. And if a person doesn't believe there's cause and effect, but believes in any way, shape, or form that the universe is random, why get out of bed? Why bother? Because how would you know when randomness is going to show up? 50 years a person could be going to a job and getting a paycheck every week. But if the universe is random, then after those 50 years, boom, 50 years in 1 week, they don't get a check. The boss actually took money out of their account. That would be random. So nobody believes it's random because every human being on earth, even in the worst situations, are making effort to make their life better. Even if it means begging on the street or whatever, it's a way to make their life better, which means they believe cause and effect. That if they'll go beg on the street, they'll have some money. People will give them money, cause and effect. They don't believe it's random. They're acting as if there is a cause and effect. So we have to start with that. We're here to act like the Creator 24/7. Our free will is either to share the light or try and get from the situation. And therefore, cause and effect is every action we do creates a result. And the results are not what we decide. That's decided by the universe, or the fourth part here is our tikkun process, which means in Kabbalistic terms, correction, fixing a mistake. That's all tikkun is. Some people think of it as karma. All right, maybe more familiar, but the Kabbalistic word is exact. Tikkun means to correct. You misspell a word on the computer, and don't tell me, yeah, the computer will do it by itself, but you get the idea. You have to go back and correct that word. That's tikkun. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing, because once you fix the mistake, now what you wrote is perfect. So once we fix our mistake, then we're manifesting more of our true, perfect self that the Bible calls the image and likeness of God. That's all it means. We are created perfect. Now, because of free will, we can act in a taking way, anger, jealousy, ego, greed, whatever, even happy for other people's misfortune. Wow, they lost the job, I got the job, so I'm happy, which means in a way I'm happy for their misfortune. That's also a way of taking, trying to get energy, not taking in an overt bad way like some other things, but it's spiritually, it's disadvantageous. So then we have to understand I am the center of my universe. So when I stand up and I make a 360-degree circle, everything I see is a result and a reflection of every choice, every action I've ever done in this lifetime. Because it's cause and effect. Now, you can tell me, but Chaim, you don't know the pressure that was on me when I was a teenager, or you don't know the pressure that happened. Okay, pressure is pressure. It still doesn't take away my free will. So my choice is my choice. And if I give in to pressure, I have to also accept I gave into it. I gave in. Not they forced me. I still gave in. It's still my choice. So everything that I see in my life, that you see in your life, is simply a result of everything I've ever done in this life. Why are you and I here right now today? Because of all the choices we made since we were teenagers, let's say. 12, 13, 14. Every choice led to whatever path you took for the last, whatever you are, 10, 20, 30 years, to get to here today. We have to come to that consciousness, because then we can take control. You get lost. You're driving your car and you get lost. You don't say, well, the car did it. Or the GPS did it. Maybe you didn't listen to the GPS. Maybe, you thought you were going in the right direction, but you still were steering the car. So you turned it to the left, you turned it to the right. It's going to be harder in a few years when there's driverless cars. But meanwhile, we're still taking control over the steering wheel. Either way, you get the example. We made the decisions that led to everything in our life. So like my teacher, Karen Berg, used to say, Why didn't the Creator create us that we could see ourselves? We need a mirror. We need a mirror. I can't see my own face. I have to have a mirror or some reflection to see my face. And why do we look in mirrors? Yeah, I know some people could say, well, for the ego, I got to see how great I look or how good I am. Okay, even that, I can't see it. I still have to have a reflection. But generally, we want to make sure that our clothes match, that our makeup's okay, we don't have, I don't know, spots on our face or whatever it is, that kind of thing. We look to fix ourselves and correct ourselves. That's why we use a mirror. So how do we have a mirror of life? Simply that. I am the center of my universe. You're the center of your universe. Doesn't mean you can manipulate everything the way you want it, but understand, every action creates an effect. And that effect, therefore, is the reflection of your action. The trouble is, and that's why the Kabbalists teach us this world is called the world of illusion. Not that it doesn't have impact. Not that if you pinch me, I'm not going to be hurt. Not that kind of illusion. But the illusion is I decide whether something is good or bad for me. I decide if I like it or not. It doesn't decide for me. I know a lot of people who don't care about gold. They're not so interested in gold. It's not valuable to them. I know some of you looking like, who's that crazy person? Okay, but you get the idea. You watch a movie. How many times you're with a friend, you say, oh, did you see this movie? They say, I saw it, was horrible. Horrible? I thought it was amazing. That's the illusion. Same movie, some like it, some don't. Or like my teacher, the Rav, used to say, and some of you may know that, the stock market goes up. Is it good for everybody? And if you know, and I know like this much, if you sell short, I think that's still the name, then when it goes up, you lose money. If you sell long, then when it goes up, you gain money. So is it going up or down, good or bad? Depends on your perspective. So the same thing, everything in our life, when you look at the reflection in your life, is it good or bad? It's up to you to decide. It of itself is not good or bad. And again, please do not, with all the current events, misconstrue that I'm saying, yes, rape, robbery, and murder and all that stuff is good. I'm not saying that. But we have to have a spiritual perspective because the whole point of the center is to teach every human being who will walk in the center and learn how to help move the world forward from chaos to order. From chaos to order, from darkness to light. And therefore, we have to see everything, as we're about to talk about, as a reflection, and therefore giving me and you power to change our lives. Like when you look in the mirror. If I look in the mirror and I still have toothpaste on my face, I don't just go, oh my God, why did God do that to me? Why is it that way? I have to spend the whole day with everybody looking at the toothpaste on my... do I have toothpaste on that? No, just kidding. Like that. No, you fix it. You look in the mirror and say, oh, toothpaste, and you wipe it off. You clean it. So then the same way, if we look at our life as all the great Kabbalists teach us, my world is a mirror of me. Therefore, what I see out there is chaos. Yes, all the bad actors, but also in my frame, simpler frame, more subtle frame, I can fix it. Because if I see it as a reflection of me, I can fix it. If I see you did it to me, I can't fix it. Because I have no control if you're the one who did it. But if a person does what they did, and I decide I want blessing out of it, then it's up to me to transform it. I used to call it, when I first started teaching, and I don't know who still remembers it, the philosopher's stone, right? Was this mystical thing that could turn lead to gold. So as we're going to get into this here, if you had that philosopher's stone to turn lead to gold, would you be looking for lead or looking for gold to use the stone with? Lead, because gold is already gold. You want more gold, you have to turn the lead to gold with the philosopher's stone. So what Kabbalah is teaching us, and we're going to get to at least the simple part of it today, is how to turn chaos to order. So people may bring or attempt to bring you chaos. You may look at the world and be feeling the chaos of the world. But we learn here, as I'll give you a couple basic steps before we leave, how to use the Kabbalistic methodology to turn chaos to order. Because, as my favorite example is, and I didn't bring it, but hopefully you know what it is, the Rubik's Cube. Anyone here doesn't know what a Rubik's Cube is? That's okay, it's not embarrassing. Do you know what a Rubik's Cube is? Yeah, okay, good. Good, thank you. Okay. Right? So for me, you buy it off the shelf, it's perfect. You mess it up like this, which for some people, not me, is the fun of it. You mess it up and then you have to figure out how to put it back. So, like I understand now, it's not chaos. What is that chaos? It was perfect. So when you mix it up, it's not really chaos, it's just disarray, disorder, right? I took the order and I made it disorder. So if I know the technology, like my kids do, they know how to turn the disorder back to order. So as we hold the consciousness that the universe started perfect, even as the simple story of the Bible says, the Garden of Eden, perfection. Yeah, then we as humanity screwed it up, like the Rubik's Cube, but there is a methodology to turn it back. That's what Kabbalah is teaching us. So a couple things to keep in mind is, how big is the light of the Creator, the source of infinite, lasting fulfillment? Infinite. The light is infinite. So then if you think about it, this is my revelation or my inspiration to share with you. You know, some of the old monster movies, people lost in the jungles, right? They can't find their way out. How do you, if you can't find your way out in simple terms, you're lost in the jungle, what do you need? You need a guide, somebody who's familiar with the jungle, who can come and wherever you started, can guide you out of the lost aspect, the chaotic aspect, the confusing aspect, the unclear, hurtful, painful aspects of life, if you have a guide. So if we now keep in mind these simple two pieces, the light is infinite. So if we don't see the light, meaning we don't see how to make the right choice in a decision we have to make, we don't know how to heal an issue that we have or overcome or deal with a certain situation, we call that darkness. But the darkness doesn't mean the light doesn't exist. The light is hiding behind what's called often the cover of darkness, right? Spies, thieves want to go in the cover of darkness, right? As if it's a cover. So the Kabbalists actually call it a veil. But the light is always there. So the light is always, because it's infinite, pushing us, guiding us in the way of the light, so that it will ultimately lead us to 100% fulfillment. Happiness, joy, peace, love, all the good blessings. That's our God-given, guaranteed ultimate destiny. It's the only thing that's predestined. How we get there? Our choice. That it's there and everyone will get there, we have no choice over it. The only thing we can do is go the easier way or the more difficult way. So then adding to that, if you understand the light, because it's not just the Creator's light, is not just like the physical light, let's call it inanimate, it's actually consciousness. It's illuminated consciousness of absolute perfection and all the ways and means to turn any form of chaos back to order. Any form that we might call curse into a blessing. That's the light of the Creator. So it's always pushing us. But again, we have free will. So just like the GPS, have you ever, and maybe not you guys, maybe some of you watching online here, have you ever done the opposite of what the GPS said? GPS said go to the left, you said, no, I'm sure it's go to the right. Yes. Okay, so if we can do that with a simple GPS, don't you think over centuries and lifetimes, we've probably done it hundreds and thousands of times. When the Creator tells us, when our soul is telling us, go to the left, you say, oh, no. My illusion, my five senses, everything tells me go to the right, and then we get in trouble. So it's the same idea. So our soul can influence us, our soul can urge us, and essentially direct us in the way. But we still, meanwhile, like the GPS, you have choice. So if you went to the right, it said go to the left, and now you realize you went the wrong way, what do? Do you just hold your ego and say, I don't care what the GPS said, I'm going to just keep going to the right for the next 3 hours? Your destination is 5 minutes away, but you're determined that you were right and the GPS was, no. You realize the GPS was right, so you make the correction, you go back. Yeah, it's an extra few blocks or whatever, but you'll make the correction. So the same thing happens spiritually. This is the glitch, though. This is the difficulty. Because our soul that wants to guide us, even against our own resistance, like doing the opposite of what it says, You remember years ago they had something called tough love. I don't hear so much about it anymore. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but any of you remember tough love? You know, sometimes, or maybe you don't know what that means per se, but you have to have those difficult conversations with a loved one, a friend, an employee, somebody, whatever. You see that the situation is not going right, or they're, let's say, not doing something right, and you have to have that tough conversation with them to try and help them be in the way of goodness, good for them or whatever it is. It's a tough conversation. They may not like you. They may not like the conversation. They may even hate you for 10 minutes until down the road they see that you were really there out of love and care, and then they'll come back. But you're willing to have that kind of conversation because you truly, with your heart and soul, not your ego, really believe it's good for them, at least to share those ideas. So again, imagine what our soul is doing. So in Kabbalah 1, we teach our soul is writing the movie of our life. Doing what? What's the wake-up call look like, has to look like to get our attention? Challenges, difficulties. Because if we just go along, like you said, you know, if we made the right turn and we just go along and we kind of happily go in our stupor, we're just going to keep going. We're not going to notice the GPS keeps saying recalculating. You know, it doesn't say stupid. I don't think many people would buy that GPS, but it should. Hey, stupid, wait 4 miles ago to go to the left. How long are you going to keep going? But we have that ability in life, sadly. Even though there's one way to understand it is simply be honest. And this may be the most difficult thing for us because of the pain, the discomfort. To look back and say, how many similar situations have I seen in my own life? People who have, 6, 7, 8 relationships where whatever, they got taken advantage of, got cheated on or whatever, and they keep pointing at the other person. Or something with a job. I have a relative I've shared, probably hasn't been in a long time, that was only in a job for less than a year, for about 8, 9 jobs. Why? Because we get in the job, it looked good in the beginning, and then everybody else around them was an idiot. So then they leave the job, find another job. In the beginning, it was great and wonderful, and then guess what? Same thing. A little while later, everybody's an idiot. And this went on literally for 6, 7, 8 jobs. And at the end, the 9th job or whatever one it was, they stayed for 20 some odd years and retired. Sounds good, right? For 20 years. One realized if they didn't stay in a job, they wouldn't have pension, retirement, all of that. But for those 20 years along the way, guess what? Still, everybody around them was an idiot. The boss is idiot, co-workers, same thing, nothing changed. Why? Because they didn't see the world as their mirror. They are the only common factor in all those situations. If somebody gets cheated on in 8 relationships, who's the common factor? Those are 8 different people. The one person is the common factor. So if you only look at the world as them and as victim of the world, then you'll never be in control. It keeps happening again and again and again because our soul is something wrong. You're not paying attention to what's going on. In some way you're trying to get, so you get somebody who just knows stronger ways to get, and that's why they cheat on you, or that's why the business didn't go, or that's why these issues happened. Because they were a little stronger at getting. Tug of war. You never played tug of war? Who wins a tug of war? Those who are stronger. But both want to win, so they're both pulling their way. So whatever it is, relationship, business, job, even one to oneself. You and I have learned we have 2 voices in our head, our true soul, and then this false, egoistic, self-centered voice that's an imposter that's there to challenge us. Tug of war. So whichever one side we give more power, that's the one that's going to win. That's the one that's going to win. So you look at your life and you say, no, everything is a mirror of me. Everything is a mirror of me, and I don't want to keep seeing the same repetitive things over and over again happening. Look at the world. How many times? Stupidity. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results. How many genocidal maniacs over the last 5,000 years have we gotten rid of? Wherever they came, whatever part of the world, whatever religion, whatever you want to say, every one of them. And yet what keeps happening? Genocidal maniacs. More. Why? Because we didn't stop and ask, which I want to tell you now. Our soul is a challenge, but it's giving us a message. Hey, tomorrow you still have some jealousy. You still have a little fear. You still have a little ego. You still have a little guilt and shame. That's all it's messaging me. But we have to be able to get that message. So how do we do that? Kabbalah 1. The simple step, and you can go online. If you've taken Kabbalah 1, go back and take it again. If you happen to be anywhere near Boca, so it's also a good opportunity for you, we have 2 new Kabbalah 1 starting on the 16th and the 17th of January. Tuesday morning at 11 and Wednesday night at 7. So if you haven't taken it in a while or you're new and you want to come take it, the first class you could take for free, see what it is, how you like it, and then sign up for the rest of the course. But these are the laws of the universe. So here's the essence. And like I just told you, I've been teaching 36 years. Every time I teach Kabbalah 1, I get new revelations. Because if you grow spiritually, make any change, you'll hear the same thing differently. You'll look at it differently. You'll find a new way to apply it in your life. So I don't care how many times you take Kabbalah 1, you should always hear something new, because that's a reflection that you've changed. You're looking at things different. So think, make it for you, which is what this is for. I don't have to be here. Well, sometimes I do, because you guys give me revelations. But, in simple terms, I don't have to be here. But I want to be here for you and get whatever I can get out of it. New revelation, new experience, or just meeting new people. So think in your life this week, the last week or two, think of one challenge you faced. One challenge. Somebody said something happened, something didn't happen, whatever it was. Think of that thing and just try and go back objective, as if you're watching a movie of somebody else. Okay, something happened, you were triggered. You were triggered. Now, what we learned from Kabbalah 1, and obviously in the course you got more details, but the simple bottom line is, once you're triggered and you feel like just reacting, knee-jerk response, they screamed at you, something nasty to you, you said something nasty right back to them. Not even thinking. It just happened. Why? Because we've trained ourselves over many, many, many experiences. Every time somebody screamed at you, you screamed right back. So that's your natural muscle memory, as they call it. Now, what we're learning is somebody does something and you're triggered. Pause. That's the first difficult part. Before you react. When I was a kid, they used to say, if you're angry, stop and count 10. The difference was, when I used to count 10 back then, I was just thinking of different ways to get back at my sister. I wasn't really changing consciousness, right? In this case, pause. You pause for a moment. Now comes consciousness. Now I can have free will. When you just have a knee-jerk response, there's no free will. You're just acting with the same old behavior that you've trained yourself to do. Pause. Now here comes the message of today. Why is it in my movie? Why is this in my movie? Why did this thing happen in my experience? And don't let that nasty fake voice in your head say, well, because they did what they did. No. We call it pushing your button, right? It's a common term. Yeah, they pushed my buttons. Or that driver in front of me pushed my buttons. Or the news pushed my buttons. Or what I saw in the movie pushed my buttons. Or what I just thought. I listened to the radio. A song came on, pushed my buttons. How many ways can the button be pushed? But do we stop and think, wait a second. If I didn't have that button, nothing could push it. So I wouldn't have that same feeling. So why is it in my movie? What the answer that I teach, think about what you're feeling in the moment. What's the message from your soul? Whatever you're feeling, it wants to tell you. Like I said, you may still have a little jealousy, guilt, shame, ego, fear, greed, judgment, whatever it is. That's what your soul's trying to say. That's where your blessing is hiding. That's where the clarity is hiding. That's where you're healing. Especially today. I mean, I grew up a few years back when they used to talk about, just went out, hypochondriac. What's hypochondria? Person could have physical symptoms, but we would say, it's all in their mind. They're making it, yeah, but it's a physical symptom. Now you've got, what's it called? Epigenetics. Now they got a big fancier word, which means the same thing. People think and their body follows. So why is there a sickness? Like Karen used to say, dis-ease. If a person is ill at ease, then the body will reflect it and will create some kind of message. Hey, your body's a wake-up sign. You're doing something wrong, fix it. I touch a hot stove. Do I say, God, why are you doing this to me? Why is it happening? Who turned on the stove? Why this? No, my automatic, take my hand away. Then I have to learn the lesson. Don't keep putting your hand on a hot stove. Be more conscious about it. Have I done it since? I look to see how much you're judging me. Yeah, okay, once in a while I still do it. But I'm honest though. Why? Because I'm not paying attention in the moment. Do I know I shouldn't touch the hot stove or touch a metal pot that's on this heated stove? Yes, here I know it. But every now and then, if my mind is somewhere else, I might reach automatically. And then my body says, Chaim, you're an idiot. You did it again. Learn, right? Why? How? By the pain I feel. Okay, that's it. So life is just a bigger aspect of that. More intensity, grander scale, but it's all the same thing. Touch a hot stove, you get the pain, you want to change. Do you care? If you're sitting having an argument with somebody and you touch the hot stove, do you hold your hand there while you're still having the argument because you still want to be right in the argument? Or does suddenly that pain you're feeling make the argument go away even for the moment? Does it go away for the moment? Yes or yes? Yes or yes? Yeah, okay, thank you. You're new. That's very nice. You're coming along with us. Yeah, of course, we all would do that. I don't know anybody who will hold their hand on the stove and still argue, right? No, because the pain is too much. So let's learn the lesson. So you pause. Why is it in my movie? Ask, what am I feeling? That's it. It's not about them. They're the center of their universe. They acted in a nasty way. That nastiness is going to come back to them. I don't want to be the channel of the nastiness back to them. Because if I act nasty because they act nasty, the universe is going to send it back to me. I don't want that. I want to shine light, and that doesn't mean I'm going to be walked all over or whatever, right? I'll be protected by the light, but I don't want to act like them. I don't want to get in the mud with them. I don't want to, like we used to say, lower myself into their level. We hear all these things, but we have to wake up and start applying it. I want to be above. I want to be in the light. So then you just take whatever appropriate light action. Find a way to shine light and act appropriately, which again, I mean, heaven forbid somebody's coming physically to try and hit a person. You are allowed to physically defend yourself. Kabbalah doesn't say, yeah, just be idiots, send light and let them, walk all over you or whatever. No. The more clarity you have, the less advantage they could take. Because the only reason people take advantage of us, or we perceive it that way, is because we've tried to take advantage of them. Only somebody who's trying to cheat the system can be cheated by the system. Only somebody who wants to con the other person can be conned by somebody. Now, they may be in a larger way, we may be in a smaller way, but conning is conning. You want to make a little extra money here? So a little gray area stuff. Yeah, so then when the person doing the gray area stuff gets taken by the one who's doing the clear wrong thing, and they say, that nasty person. Really, what were you doing? You were trying to also take advantage in a certain way. Same thing. Our impatience is their robbery. It's just the same thing. They're impatient with, raising money or making money. Okay, so they're just impatient. They go steal it. We're impatient, so we scream at the driver in front of us. Impatience is impatience. The intensity is the only difference. But like attracts like. And that is, yes, painful at first, but once you're willing to accept responsibility, you're in total control. Once you accepted responsibility, you went to the right when the GPS said left, then you're back in control. Listen to the GPS. It's the bigger picture, so to speak, and it can guide you where you need to go. So when you listen to your soul, the light that the Creator implanted inside of us, then it can take us more easily and quickly right to the right spot, right to the right place. Now, one other thing before we go. The essence of all challenges is to pause and not see the physicality. They said what they said, yes, we're not denying that. They did what they did. But if I see they screamed at me and that's what I focus on, more than likely my old muscle memory is going to be scream back at them. So when you pause, you're triggered, you pause and you say, I want to be on a higher level. So like we're saying, why is it in my movie? Okay, to show me I still have a little bit of whatever the negativity is. So if I act the opposite, I clean it up. So we want to be above. The thing I want to bring out is the same process works when good things happen. Somebody wins the lottery and they just jump for joy and they're going to run to the job and tell the boss, you know what to do with their job, you get all of that. That's just as detrimental. And how do we know? Because if you look at the statistics, the last I saw, 80% of the people who win more, millions of dollars in a lottery or .coms and things like that, after 5 years, they're bankrupt, if not worse. How could that be? Because they reacted. They didn't pause and say, why is it in my movie? Why am I winning the lottery? Why did I get that job? Why did I come up with that amazing, quote, invention that's making millions of dollars? Why? Oh, when the bad stuff happens, God, why me? I'm so good. When the good stuff happens, forget God. It's me. I'm so smart. Creative. No, we still have to pause and say, why is it in my movie? Find a way to share. Like I said, if you get promoted over the other guy, have compassion for the other guy. Don't just glow, see, I got it, I was better than you. No, why is it in your movie? So you can have compassion. Have compassion on that. You still have the job. You still got the promotion. Have compassion on the other person. Feel for the other person. That's essential to true spiritual growth. Feel the pain of the other as if it's mine. So the same way I want to take my hand off the hot stove, I want to help them, at least offer them the opportunity to take their hand off the hot stove. Again, it's their free will. They don't want to listen. They don't want to listen. That was tough for me. The first 2 years I was a teacher and I would, speak with students one-on-one, and I almost want to force them. Well, I see clearly what you need to do. Do this, do this, do this. And it was painful to watch them not listen. Now it's still painful, but I realize I can't force them. I can offer, I can scan my Zohar, I can pray for them, meditate, and like that, but I can't force anybody. The same way I can't be forced. I have my free will, you have your free will. We're here, and Karen created the center so we can help each other. So when I'm down, you can help me get up. When you're down, I can help you up, like that, working together. So we have to see everything, the good and the bad, so to speak, as an opportunity to transcend the physical material world. And therefore, once we transcend that, we're in the world of what's called the 99%, where there's just light, blessing, and the perfection. If you reach in the 99% realm, meaning the spiritual metaphysical realm, the true one, you have access not only to your perfect self, the image and likeness, as it's called, of God, but you also are in the realm where all the bad actors, who we know are still pure beings of light, but covered up with so much mud of negative actions, those clouds of darkness, that they're doing the dastardly deeds. So when we go into that 99% realm, because we want to connect to our perfect self so we can raise ourselves up, we also have access to the heart and soul of all the other 8 billion people on the planet, their pure and perfect self. And this is why we always talk about scan your Zohar, pray, meditate, send light from your heart and soul to the heart and soul of everybody, especially the bad actors. Because as I've learned 37 actually, when I started as a student, the only thing in the world will take away darkness. And it's still 37 years later, nobody's come and given me another way. If you want to get rid of the darkness in a room, how do you do it? Scream and yell, pay it off, bribe it, tell it who you are, your political power, your economic power, your brain power. You got whatever, 1600 on the SAT. How are you going to get rid of the darkness? Turn on the light. Simple. So if we access the light of the 99% and apply it in the 1%, darkness goes away. So if we're up there and we can access the heart and soul of even the people who are doing dastardly things, which we do in our own level, then we awaken their soul. And the more we awaken their soul and awakening ours at the same time, the more we come to feel the pain of our negative behavior before we do the next action. So we'll change it before we do it. And then we reach the heart and soul of those people who are doing dastardly things out there, that they'll feel so much inner pain that they'll realize that it's their own creation. They've done so much negative stuff that every time they do negative stuff, they get beat 5 times over. They'll have clarity. They'll stop doing it. That's how we'll end pain, suffering, and death. Not by trying to get rid of them and not by trying to teach them, so to speak, that it's not good that they should do those things. No, reach their heart and soul. The power of the Creator inside of us knows all the right things to do. Nobody doesn't know. It's just we've covered it up and stopped listening and fight it and resist it. So the more we wake up our soul, the more power, the more influence, the more urgency we feel to do the right thing. Because we know that's the only way to have lasting, eternal blessings. Otherwise, comes and goes. Comes and goes. Even in the biggest picture, meanwhile, death. You know, the old thing, how much money can a person take with them when they die? A person could be buried with a Cadillac. Do they really take it with them? They could be buried with $1 million of gold. Do they really take it with them? No, they don't. The only thing we take with us when a person leaves the world is the good things they've done, the transformation they've made of themselves, and the impact for the good of the world that they've done. That's it. You take your good deeds. So in this lifetime, the only thing that will bring us true satisfaction, long term, even meanwhile between, let's call it birth and death, is actions of the light. That's the only thing. So we've got to come to the realization, yes, the universe is always on our side. It's always pushing, leading us, guiding us, nudging us in the direction of the light. And it also, as the Kabbalists say, it doesn't matter how far off the path a person has found themselves, there's always a way back, because the light is infinite, the light is omnipotent, the power of goodness and purity and all those eternal blessings of happiness, joy, whatever you want to call it, available 24/7. It's we who have to learn to access it. But unless a person pauses and asks, why is it in my movie? Not because of them, but what have I done to attract it? And again, I don't mean in a bad way, but just what is I feeling? And once I realize what I'm feeling, then I can fix it. If I know what my problem is, whatever's left. And for those of you who are newer, the Creator gave us 100%. So even if I'm working on my ego and I'm at 95% correction of my ego, I still have 5% to go. So like we said with the mirror, if I don't see where that 5% is hiding, my soul will write a script, as we call it, to bring a challenge in my life, a mirror that will show me where that 5% of my ego is still existent. Because the Creator gave us 100%, we're meant to have 100%, we're going to have 100%. The only thing is the easy or the difficult way. And the way to truly get all that the Creator gave us and wants us to have is that simple action. Pause, why is it in my movie? And what can I do to act with greater love, kindness, and compassion in the world? God bless.
Thank you, Lon.
No, thank you. So this is our time, like we always do. One, I want to constantly remind you, just a reminder again, the 16th and the 17th, if you have friends even, those of you who are out there somewhere in cyberspace, if you have friends in the Boca area at all, January 16th at 11, January 17th at 7 o'clock, new Kabbalah ones here in person. And it's not online. For those of you who want to learn online or can only learn, Kabbalah.com. Every few weeks there's another Kabbalah one on live Zoom. Okay, but Zohar. In fact, there's a group that just went out this morning to go hand out Zohars. This we believe, if you're new to the center, the Zohar, we said, is the blueprint of the universe, and it just radiates light. We're about to do a meditation that's built from Hebrew letters, which we'll talk about in a moment. One of the names of God, it's called. But we made these pocket size so everyone on earth can carry it with them. Put it in your pocket, put it in your purse, put it in your glove compartment. It just shines the light of the Creator. And as we said, light removes darkness. Light protects from darkness. So, I mean, I could talk here for the next 2.5 hours easily on miracles about the Zohar, but you have to experience it for yourself. But just trust. Our ultimate mission is just make sure there's a Zohar in the hand of everybody on earth. That'll be for sure the end of pain, suffering, and death. Meanwhile, we're working to get to what's called the critical mass, which, you know, when the balance of power of the universe is 50.1% of the light, then the rest is just sliding downhill into peace and harmony and joy. So if you don't have one, get one. If you have them, make sure your friends, family, your car, whatever, your office, at least have this version of it. Okay? We cannot do that, and we cannot maintain the centers without your help, which is why, yes, it is a free will offering. And for those of you online, let me put that there. This is the link. We'll do the meditation together. And then whatever gift you like to give to the center to help us in our process. And meanwhile, those of you here, we're just going to meditate. So whatever you want to offer, just hold it in your hands. You have the envelopes if you want on the tables. But we know consciousness is everything. And so money is just a vessel. It's a container of energy, and we decide the energy it has. And so in this case, we want to inject our gratitude, our appreciation for all the blessings that we have in our life, for the lessons we've learned, even through the challenging situations. We've made them make us better people, higher consciousness through them, and keeping in mind that every human being on earth has a pure and perfect soul inside them, filled with the pure light of the Creator. So that this offering, this gift, empowering the projects of the center, to teach people this wisdom, to spread the books of the Zohar, is to help activate the DNA of the Creator inside us and them simultaneously. Consciousness to bring light, to be the controlling power of every human being on earth, the true guiding system to greater peace, love, kindness, all the blessings that the Creator has already set out for us. And so we offer it with love, with gratitude, in the consciousness of speeding up freedom from chaos and the revelation of a world of peace, love, harmony, and eternal happiness. And together we say, Amen. So for those of you here, okay, what you see in front of you, especially if you're new, those of you online, let me get back here. What did I do? Yeah, okay, here we go. So what you see in front of you is what most people will call 3 Hebrew or Aramaic letters. If you look, those in the room here, if you look to the left, you see the chart of all 72 names of God. They are function buttons of the soul, because the Hebrew letters are primordial. Nobody created them. Nobody invented them. They came out of the endless world, like protons, neutrons, and electrons, let's say, came out of the Big Bang. Nobody created them. We just learned how to make use of them. So in the same way, the Kabbalists explain this combination called Lamed, Lamed Vav. Each one is a portal, is a conduit of the light of the Creator. So the combination we define as dialing God. It's a way to dial to the light of our soul, to that pure and perfect being within us and within each other. So just look at it. Eyes are the window to the soul. In our soul is implanted the programming of the Creator. So this is a means of awakening that programming on a higher and higher level until we're manifesting and channeling truly 100% of our light. So just look at the shapes, Lamed Vav Vav. Let it be ingrained in your mind's eye. And then if I can ask you, sit comfortably on your chair, feet flat on the floor, hands on your lap. Begin relaxing, taking a few deep breaths, breathing in through the nose. Hold the breath for a moment. Exhale through your mouth. Breathe as deeply in your abdomen as you can. Creating a flow of physical air and metaphysical light. Allowing yourself to relax into the envelopment. Feel yourself enveloped in the infinite light. It's always been there. We haven't always been conscious. Now we're enhancing, focusing consciousness of the infinite light, filling us and surrounding us. allowing yourself to relax, feeling the warmth of the light, feeling the embrace of unconditional love. That the light shares infinitely to each and every person on earth, unconditionally. Allow yourself to feel relaxed in that embrace. Enhanced consciousness of the presence of the light, the perfection of the light, the clarity, guidance, and strength that the light gives each and every one of us. Envision above your head these 3 nanoparticles of the light of the Creator, Lamed Vav Vav. See them shining, bright white light. Feel the vibration of love, peace, and allow them to slowly enter through the top of your head. Lamed Vav Vav. Calling consciously on the power of the Creator. And let these 3 light particles flow through you from head to toe, calling out in every cell of your being, physically and spiritually, that spark of the light of the Creator. Calling it to awaken, to pierce through the darkness, the clouds, and the cover of negativity, confusion, chaos. Whatever is of darkness inside you. Calling on the light, drawing it out. And as it's drawn out, dissipating the darkness. A greater sense of peace, serenity, clarity, strength, guidance from your soul. Ask, while you've called on the light, ask for the support of the light of your soul for whatever chaos you have, whatever confusion. Ask for guidance, ask for clarity, and be willing to hear whatever answer you get. Be willing to accept that answer as your greatest blessing, as you'll live into it for long-term fulfillment. Ask with an open heart to hear clearly the answer. Record that answer. Establish it in your memory so you can live it from this moment forward. And together, let's take a beam of this light, Lamed Vav Vav, the power to dial, call upon the light within us. And let's beam a beacon of light from our heart and soul out to the heart and soul of our family and friends, awakening that call of the Creator inside them, awakening a higher level of the pure light of their soul, that the voice of their soul will be louder than the voice of their opponent. And then beam it out, that beacon of Lamed Vav Vav, from them to the heart and soul of every person on earth. That this awakening, Lamed Vav Vav, will draw out through their covers, through their veils of darkness, the pure light of the Creator. That every one of us will be more influenced by the light of love and care and compassion, the sense of unity, the realization that there is only one soul on earth, embodied in 8 billion physical beings. One interconnected soul. Notice how much more peace you feel, certainty, clarity, serenity, as you're channeling this light, allowing more to come in from above as more goes out through you, through family and friends, to every person on earth. See in your mind's eye the light, removing the darkness worldwide, that the cosmos is clearing up, the dark clouds of chaos, divisiveness disappearing, and the light of peace, love, unity, abundance, happiness is being manifest. Lamed Vav Vav. Channeling this energy, keeping it with you, engraved in every cell of your body, now that you've started the awakening, that from this moment forward it continues to awaken the light inside you. And as you'll change your view, your action, your perception, your consciousness, this power of Lamed Vav Vav will also more and more draw out from the people around you in all circumstances, will draw out from them also more of their pure and perfect light being. Engrave this feeling, this vibration, this vision in your heart, mind, and soul. And take one more deep breath to finalize it, to be able to keep it with you. And as you exhale, slowly opening your eyes. God bless. Have a great week. Those of you here, thank you for joining us, and have a great day.
Thank you for joining us. If you liked what you saw, subscribe to this channel that you'll be notified when we post new videos. Share the video with your friends, they can also benefit. And check out the website, www.kabbalah.com, that's Kabbalah, for hundreds of articles and classes. Wish you an amazing day, and God bless.